Welcome to Sunday. I'm Aaron Rosen. This is Utah's informative voice. You're listening to the Wasatch Gazette here in Studio R at Cumulus Media in Salt Lake City. We want to wish you and yours a very happy New Year. Here we go. All acquaintance. I don't know. We're 3 weeks into the new year in Auld Lang Syne. The songs have gone away. The fireworks over. The celebrations have done that. Of course, the New Year's Eve street celebration out in London this year. And as we think about the words of Auld Lang Syne, we just know all acquaintance be forgotten. And then it just rolls off, and that's it. So here we are. We're a few weeks into it. You've made those New Year's resolutions, and so today I want to talk to you if you said, well, that was 3 weeks ago. I'm not doing those anymore. And it seems to be that cycle we get into. We're talking about life. Life gets in the way, doesn't it? It's nice to have you with us here on the Wasatch Gazette today. And a special guest, Lou DePasquale from Salt Lake City from Attainment Life, Career, and Business Coaching. Lou, thanks for joining us today.
Oh, thanks for having me here.
Well, tell me a little bit about what happens. Do you see this a lot? Do you see people kind of getting into the routine of they make the resolutions, but is the resolution really the heart of the matter, or is it life changes?
Well, it seems to be more of the life changes. This is an interesting time of year where more and more people think that getting into exercise or getting into something specific, now's the time for the life change. It's the first of the year. It's like you've always heard over the years of the fitness thing where somebody will go in and
look at me. That's why I'm in radio. I have a radio face.
Somebody will go in, someone will go into the gym in January and get this big membership and say, sure, I'll sign up for 6 months or a year. And then February, there's no one at the gym but tumbleweeds and the regulars. So it's important for people to not bite off more than they can chew and really look at their personal and professional goals and see what's realistic. I've always said realistic goals in an attainable time frame. And, I think that many people lose sight of that. They just set the bar too high.
Mm-hmm. Tell me about what it is that attainment can do for anyone. What do we do?
Well, again, it's important to break down the personal and professional side. And I think that, some people might be an ace at finances, but they really just can't figure out what they want to do with their career, or maybe relationships, or just that life direction. And this is for all ages and backgrounds. I mean, I deal with I can go on for days about the different backgrounds I deal with, but that's a plus. Because it's important that someone can find somebody like me, a life, career, business coach, whoever's needed, and connect with them and find out how someone's going to help them be held accountable for their personal and professional goals to actually make a change and get it off of paper and into motion. Okay,
so you're like the real life, everyday person of what a fitness trainer would be at the gym. You help keep us on track. You help us to actually attain and achieve our goals and our visions.
Absolutely, with a healthy dose of cracking the whip.
Oh, good. I had no idea. I thought I'm in the room here with Oprah Winfrey. I thought this is, but Oprah with a whip. Okay, tell me about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, a lot of times, again, people can gain so much insight from a book or a seminar. I've done speaking events, public and private. But again, to have somebody with you when you need to hold you accountable for so many different things, cracking the whip is essential. I mean, you want validation, you want positive reinforcement, positive thinking. But many times you get people who just say, look, I am going to need a boot to the backside because, that's what's gotten me to you in the first place.
Wow. Well, it's so true, I think. And that's why I think now's a good time to talk about our own life's prospects, especially with the new year. It's just, we're a few weeks into it now. And yeah, the gyms are starting to kind of thin out just a little bit.
Sure.
You know, I can actually get on that well, do I need to get on the treadmill just like the others? But you know what I'm saying? We do need to take things, I guess, with more determination and be more serious. I don't mean be serious and bogged down and heavy, because who likes to be around that? But right. I think if we're kind of flippant about things and we don't take things seriously, we can't really have that personal satisfaction or being able to achieve those goals that we set out for, whether it be weight loss or whether it be working on relationships or interpersonal relationships yourself. Isn't that right?
Well put. Absolutely. You know, again, people really start to look at their life, they reevaluate, and it really is, it's a daily process. I mean, many of my clients throughout the years, a part of my process is telling them to always be reevaluating, always be, again, not setting the bar too high, but reevaluating who you are and what you're doing and how you can do better, but not holding yourself to the side of, okay, well, if I'm not doing this, then I'm not going to get anywhere. Or I set that goal and I actually didn't hit it for some reason, so I'm just going to throw in the towel and give it up. I mean, that's human nature. But the more that people can reevaluate where it is they want to go, what they want to do, again, in personal and professional life aspects, the more you're actually going to be able to take a bite out of that cookie and you know, figure out what's going to work for you. Not what's going to just work for somebody else or the masses, but what's going to work for you, what's going to make you happy, what's going to actually help you get that edge in life. And I see that more than ever in the career aspect, where people can say, okay, the economy, yes, is tough. And we all know where that's at. But that doesn't mean that you can't still go out there, you know, find a great job, find something that you want to do with yourself and with your time. But again, I think it's just more people are timid because they're afraid of failure. So I think the more you can reevaluate yourself and find out what you want to do for you, again, and a little bit of a push from someone like me, the more you're going to be able to say, wow, I never thought I could do that. And it sounds pretty cliche sometimes, but some of these milestones that someone can attain in their life, the feeling is just amazing.
Wow. Tell me, okay, so you've been doing this for over 14 years along the Wasatch Front, helping people achieve their own personal or professional goals,
sure,
businesses and personal ventures. Tell me, if I'm coming to you, Lou, and I say, Lou, help me out. What's going to happen? What are the steps? Where do we start?
Well, again, the first thing, and I've always made it a point to speak on what I do and not the industry, if you will. And that's important for many different things. But for this, I always break down, again, what are the priorities? Okay, what do we need to prioritize and organize? Again, is it the financial side? Is it the career side, et cetera? So we really need to find out what's on the plate. And I've also done some talks about kind of goal list versus bucket list. And reading between the lines with that is people will sit there and say, well, this is a huge list of what I want to do in my life before I die. Mm-hmm. And they kind of correlate that with a goal list, and it's not true. I mean, the goal list has got to be some things that, again, you reevaluate in your life and you're able to break down to help yourself. So again, I'm able to really help them from the start, figure out what's on the plate, foremost. And, that seems to really help people start to understand from the third party. It's not family. It's not friends. It's not a coworker. It's not someone just validating with, sure, yes, sure, you should go do that. Mm-hmm. It's somebody saying, look, you know, here's from what you're telling me, here's what we should do. Now, again, there's two different things here. One is that's more of kind of the free consultation. That's more of, again, getting a background for a little bit. But once somebody signs on, then we're able to really get into, what's bogging them down and, mm-hmm. and what their goals are and again, how to help them to customize a package for time, for budget, for everything that's going to pertain specifically to them and, not just maybe something they think is going to help them in a short term. They have to invest some time. They have to invest some effort, and it's got to be consistent to get a true change. Give me an example, Lou, of someone that you've helped or someone that you've watched and kind of seen them morph into something from here into that butterfly. Give me an example of a story that maybe impacts you. Okay, I'll pull from the spot here. I was talking to my wife about this morning about getting ready for this interview, and of course, you know, respectively as possible with, I deal with clients literally all around the world, and I've dealt with some notable clients, some athletes, and some, if you will. But it's important to respect their privacy. But I can tell you that again, pulling from the spot would be more of helping people, someone understand that they can be notable, they can have quite a bit of money, they can be in a position of power. I mean, you name it. But there's always going to be something that they're battling. And again, it's not this, it might not be this deep thing, but it's, again, someone who could be a doctor, a surgeon, and, make this great amount of money, but be very unhappy with their finances, with their relationships, with their kids, with all these different things, and where they're actually going. And, it's important to really take from that and understand that, again, no matter who you are, or what you're doing, someone to walk in someone else's shoes is always a very easier said than done type of thing. So again, I've been able to help people understand that, again, no matter who you are and what you do, we can all use some kind of life improvement.
Give me an example. You can call him Sally or Joe if you want, but give me a real life example of someone that maybe an experience that really touched you and impacted you in your own life's work.
Oh, well, how about we call him Aaron?
Okay. Very good. I always enjoy that.
Okay. So, Aaron might be someone who's respectively 26, 27 years old. And
wouldn't that be nice? I missed that.
Still trying to figure out what he wants to do with himself. And he's out of state, or he's, doing some kind of odd job respectively. And, he just can't seem to get a grasp on a relationship, or his job, his coworkers just seem to be in the same boat. And everybody's just, talking to each other about what they could do different or what they could do better. And only if we had this, or only if we could be like our boss, So again, it's more of a generalization, because honestly, it's happened so many times over the years. Somebody in that age realm, and again, working with all ages, but specifically people who are kind of on that cusp in their late 20s, early 30s, respectively, getting them to figure out that there's so much more than what they think. And, again, it's important that people understand that age is not a restriction, but, you're restricting yourself with the negative thinking of, well, I am this age and it's passed me by. And it really hasn't. But the people who can actually rise above, figure out what works for them, and get that and gain that edge, that's what it's about. So the majority of my stories have been helping people, who really just seemed that they just thought they were, going into a concrete wall every day.
So what did you do for this, Aaron? You sat down, you assessed you probably have, you have an initial consultation, is that right? And
Sure.
You talk about what Aaron's needs are, and then you kind of assess, all right, so, and Lou, in my mind's eye, I see basically as what you folks do is kind of the equivalent of the TLC show Hoarders. I believe it's on TLC, right? I hope that's right. But you're the emotional hoarders guy. You go in and look around the place, and you see where the mess is and what we need to do to help curtail and contain the mess and get things maybe more organized and reprioritized in one's life. So if that's Aaron you're talking to, how would you help him or her after you've had that initial consultation? Do you set now that goal list?
Well, working towards the goal list, and again, and it's an important part you bring up, it's the investment. I mean, for me, for my business over the years, most people should be doing at least 3 months. But I have had clients with me for close to 3 years.
Wow.
And so again, people need to read between the lines and understand that, wow, 3 years, why would you be doing that? I've always taught something called support, options, and outlet. And I think that those are kind of the umbrellas for so many different things in our personal and professional lives. So tying that into helping Aaron, it's, again, laying the groundwork, laying the foundation to really understand the goal list, how to get there, and also that, okay, we could have one of our sessions on a Wednesday, and we have on the docket that we want to talk about, this or that, but something else might come up. You might have just lost your job. You might have just had a family problem, or, all, like you said, the daily life things that come at us, the curveballs. We have to balance those properly as well. So, I've gone on TV and other radio stations and web segments for this Attainment package that I designed years ago. And it's based on 3 months. And I'm always able to give my clients the cliche 110%, but sometimes it is a joke sleeping while standing up, because I also include with that package 24/7 cell phone service to myself. So, I mean, I wish my wife was in the room, a phone call at 3 a.m. for someone who might be out of state. Because again, a lot of my business is through phone sessions out of state. Mm-hmm. So someone who just needs that connection. And so, that's a great way to help Aaron as well. Aaron can say, well, it's 9 p.m. on a Sunday, or it's 3 a.m. on a Wednesday. I'm going to call Lou for maybe 5-10 minutes and just let him know what happened and see if he can kind of help me through this right now. Support is essential, and it's more that people say, yeah, I do that, but more people have the mindset of 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. That's it.
Mm-hmm. So even help people to learn how to reprioritize on the fly if they lose that job, or if they have a family tragedy or a medical emergency of some type, or maybe with themselves. You can help them look at the current list, see where they are, and help them to stay on track, even though they'll need to reprioritize issues that come up.
Absolutely. It's imperative that somebody can say, look, I've connected with somebody, and I can actually call them and actually get the help I need in the moment. Yeah, on the fly. It's so important. And again, I've had people, of course, over the years, like anything else, you inquire about something and you get a free consultation or you get information, and maybe it's not for you. But all of the clients I've taken on, a boatload, have had that connection with me to say, lose my guy, lose the guy that I want to call when I need help with something big or little or whatever it is. So yes, to be able to revamp on the fly, that's important to this kind of process. And I'm very happy that I'm able to offer that to people. And again, most people come across, say, well, I did some research on other coaches or this or that, and they don't offer that. They just say, hey, let's do a weekly session, and here's 45 minutes of the time you paid for it, and I'll see you a week from now, but no cell phone, or don't really give me a call on my time. I don't think you can do that, especially when the economic times change, and you need to be out there for when people need you, and it's always worked successfully for me.
And the needs come 24/7.
Absolutely.
Well, if you're just joining us this morning here on the Wasatch Gazette, you're joining me. I'm Aaron Rosen, along with our good friend here from Attainment Life, Career, and Business Coaching, Lou DePasquale here from Salt Lake, a life coach who's been in the biz, has been a pro, has been featured on Channel 2, KUTV, also been featured in the Park City Record, Intermountain Catholic Society, and the Salt Lake City Weekly editions, various radio shows, TV, internet, and that type of thing. So it's an awesome pleasure and honor to have you here with us today.
Thank you very much.
So as we're talking about Attainment and your Attainment package that you offer, I know that there are so many different life coaches or different sources for what people need. Maybe, I guess to some, maybe it's just that personal cheerleader.
Sure.
Hey, you're doing great. You're doing great. We'll see you next week.
Right.
And that's the end of it. But you're saying that you can really reach out to people and connect on a much deeper level.
Absolutely. Again, I think it's really important to do that. And let me clarify something too, for the audience, is that I'll get calls from people, and this is a personal decision, so it's not standoffish or anything like that. But I get calls from people who say, look, I want to be a life coach, or I am a life coach, or let's partner up and get clients. And, I really kind of, every single time, 10 out of 10 times, I politely turn them down, because I believe that if you can successfully do this, then you can successfully put yourself out there and make your own way. If somebody wants to sit there and say, well, here's homework for this, and here's this for this, you want to create some structure, of course. But again, you cannot get through to helping somebody unless you actually find out what makes them tick. So, but again, with that, that's an important part, an essential part of helping people is helping them help themselves. But nobody's going to gain something from just something that's, cookie cutter or for the masses. They need something for them. They want to know, their industry, their situation, their family, their relationships. And it takes quite a bit of time and effort to really gather all that. And again, to actually help them, to listen, to support them, of course, but to also help them get that edge. Because again, people want to be validated, but people don't want to be snowed.
Mm-hmm. What do you find, Lou, as far as, to me, when I hear the term life coaching, I to me, it's a rather new term. But it's apparently been around a while. What about those who are listening this morning saying, well, this is kind of a first? Is there is this a huge profession, or is it something that kind of is just kind of starting?
Well, that's a great question. And I guess the best way to look at it is a great friend of mine who's actually in radio advertising. So I kind of want to give a little something to him with this, because he said, well, you got to look at it as in a sports coach, a football coach, a basketball coach, something like that, a vocal coach, an acting coach, and the list goes on and on. But it's a life coach. It's someone who's helping you rebuild your life if done properly. But again, I think that many people look at this, and of course, again, I roll with the punches sometimes. And again, someone can be in some kind of industry where it's like, well, what is that? Or how do you do that? Or, oh, come on, give me a break, But then you lead them to something like my website, and they start to look more at what I've done. They see the client testimonials, and they see all these different accolades through the media and stuff. And they start to really understand, wow, and then this is something that can pertain to me. I want to read more. Mm-hmm. But again, I think that it can't be a fly-by-night thing. So going back to the people who I do get the emails and calls from saying, hey, I want to do this. Well, sure, go do that. Here's a little bit of advice, and best of luck. It's got to come from within. It can't just be something to say, you know what, I give people some really good advice, so I'm actually going to turn it into a business or a full-time thing. And that's another point is if you want to make a career out of this, I'm not trying to drag anybody through the mud that might do this, part-time or something like that. But again, there's something to say for when you put in your full-time, full effort, you've got to make that distinction between what's going to be a hobby and what's going to be a business.
Mm-hmm. How would you, if I were listening this morning saying, okay, it's 2012, it's a new year, time for a new me, Lou, time for a new me. I've gone to your website, which is attainmentlife.com, and I've looked at your profile. I like what people have said about you. This is my first experience looking at life coaching, but I need to make a change. And we have so many listeners today that I know they want to change something about themselves, but they want to have their feet held to the fire. How do they get hold of you? Where does it start?
Well, it's important to send me an email, and I have an inquiry form on there to tell me more about yourself. To get the free consultation is important to actually get some background. And again, there are some people respectively out there over the years who I've had to turn down and say, look, you need to go see a therapist, or I have a friend of mine who's this or that, maybe check them out. So there have been people, of course, that I've had to turn down, because situations are different. Someone might need that more of a guidance, more of an understanding of themselves. And so with your question, it's important for people out there to understand that if they're in a good place, and they're looking to make a life change in, again, the relationship arena, the finances, the things we've been talking about, and everything's on the website as well to say what I can and can't do. But it's important that they're in a pretty good place, ready to make that change. Because if you're not ready to make a change, I'm sorry, you're going to fall flat on your face, and you're going to be out money. And this is for not just my process, but anything. You're going to be out a lot of time, and you're going to be out a lot of effort. So I always tell people in the consultation, they can say, well, this sounds good. Where do I sign up? And I just don't say, well, let's just sign you up. Let's get some more information about you and see if this is really going to be something that you want to do. Because again, it's something that's going to be an investment of time and money and patience. And there's some people who really think they have that, but they don't.
Mm-hmm. I find it interesting that as the New Year's resolutions are made and they're broken, or some folks are really good at carrying them through the year, but even still, you can carry the resolution all the way through. You've achieved a goal, but have you achieved that end result? And I'm wondering, are some people afraid of maybe achieving an end result, going, well, now what?
Sure, they definitely are. Again, especially with something that they may have had a fear over the years. They've created this 500-pound gorilla on the back, if you will, that, man, if I can actually beat this, do I want to? What am I going to do when I get there? So again, and that's a perfect illustration of how I've had clients with me for numerous years. If people can say, okay, I've gotten to a great place, but I want that support. Let's maybe scale it back to bi-weekly or something like that. Mm-hmm. That's a big part too, is getting people there, but also having the support to say, again, there's so many different curveballs that are coming at me. I want to make sure you're there to help me through it. So that's one part of it, is getting there, but maintaining is also an important piece as well. And some need the extra step to maintain, and some can actually say, hey, I've got it. I'm good.
If I'm a business owner, or maybe just a start-out business owner, and I have goals in mind, can a business coach help me along that road as far as getting my business up and running, or at least just providing the support that gets me there? Or do you provide actual, real, roll your sleeves up, down and dirty coaching tips to help me start my business and help it launch successfully?
Absolutely. That's perfect. A big part of what I've done over the years is being able to, on the training side, there's restaurants out there that I've helped. There's different industries of people who need that hands-on, saying, look, I need help in training as a business owner, but so do my employees. So it's a lot of fun to actually be on site helping people one-on-one. I mean, it's one thing to be over the phone or in person across from a table, but actually be in the trenches of something, helping people gain those leadership skills, the motivation, the confidence, and once again, the accountability. But I also want to add that I did a speaking event in St. George last year, mm-hmm. and this is perfectly applicable, is that it's the balance of personal and professional life management. To know that even if you are a business owner, you're going to be able to find out more that your personal ways, especially again with finances. I mean, if you are running a business and personally you're horrible with finances, what do you think is going to happen when you're in business? Mm-hmm. You're going to be in trouble. So you're going to be running away looking for the insurance money. So,
I'm sure
so anyway, but again, the balance of personal and professional life management is an important balance to look at. And I really dig deep with business owners to say, look, you have to look at your personal side and correlate that with your professional side. And people just at first say, well, what? No, I'm good. I'm just running a business. And you start to look more at everything and say, oh, it's got to be some kind of balance. Again, if you're looking to achieve longevity, especially in business, those are the things you have to really listen to, or else you're going to be in trouble.
That's very important. Today, our guest has been Lou DePasquale from Salt Lake City, owner and operator of Attainment Life, Career, and Business Coaching. In the biz for over 14 years, been featured on various media outlets, whether it be television, the internet, radio as well here, obviously. And thank you so much for helping us to I guess, get a better grasp, because here at Cumulus Media, we are very grateful for all of our listeners across all of our radio station platforms, and we really want to hit this new year with hit the ground running, the new year, and to make empty promises to ourselves in hopes that maybe it will come around is, to me, it's like putting that styrofoam from the fast food restaurant or the pizza box in that bedroom where it's piled up like hoarders, like you see on television. It's just, well, someday I'm going to clean this room. Someday I'll clean the house. But if we personally, with self-introspection, need that personal house cleaning, that we can contact you or someone like you. And sure. I think what we would like to do is to encourage people today to not just sit idly by, but to actually take that time to really do that self-introspection, an inventory, if you will, and to see what is important in your lives. Because I believe, for one, that at the end of the day, the job and all that stuff, you can't take it with you when you go. But what you can take with you is your self-esteem, your pride, the integrity that you've developed over the years, the experiences, and the love you have for your family and your friends. And no better way to be able to prioritize that better than to take the bull by the horns, take the life goals and messages that you feel so important about, to really take it into heart and to really move forward. So I appreciate that.
Thank you for having me.
Attainment Life, Career, and Business Coaching expert here, Lou DePasquale. If they need to get a hold of you, how do they find you?
You can find me online at attainmentlife.com or on the phone, 801-412-2607.
As we embark on a new year here at Cumulus Media, we want to reach out to you and hope that you will take a moment to look inside yourself as you look and with positive prospects for the new year, that you can contact Lou at Attainment Life, or of course someone of your own choosing, but that you can also look forward to positive new beginnings here on the Wasatch Gazette. I'm Aaron Rosen. Have a great day. The Wasatch Gazette is a production of Cumulus Media, Salt Lake City, Utah. If you or your organization wants to be on the Wasatch Gazette, please call Aaron Rosen, Director of Public Affairs Programming, at 801-485-6700, extension 572. Thank you for joining us today on Utah's informative voice, the Wasatch Gazette.